Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss reveals the negotiation secrets of an FBI hostage negotiator. In this audiobook, you'll learn powerful techniques and strategies to transform the way you negotiate, whether in business, personal relationships, or everyday life. Discover how to turn a no into a yes and achieve extraordinary outcomes by mastering the art of negotiation. Chapter 1: The Art of Negotiation. In the world of negotiation, it's not just about winning or losing, but about deeply understanding the other side and reaching an agreement that benefits both parties. Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, teaches us how to break through the barriers of no and become masters of negotiation. The power of active listening. One of the first concepts Voss introduces is active listening. This isn't just about hearing the other person's words, but understanding the emotions and motivations behind those words. Active listening involves paying attention to nonverbal cues, asking open-ended questions, and paraphrasing what the other person says to ensure we've understood them correctly. For example, in a salary negotiation, active listening means understanding not just your boss's response, but also their underlying concerns and priorities. Maybe your boss is worried about the company budget or setting a precedent for other employees. Recognizing these concerns and addressing them directly can help you find a middle ground that satisfies both parties. Mirroring and labeling techniques. Voss highlights two fundamental techniques for negotiation: mirroring and labeling. Mirroring involves repeating the last three words the other person has said, which shows you're paying attention and gives you time to think about your response. For instance, if someone says, "I'm very frustrated with this project," you can respond, "Frustrated with this project?" This invites the other person to keep talking and provides you with more information. Labeling, on the other hand, involves identifying and verbalizing the other person's emotions. You can say things like, "It seems like you feel frustrated," or "It sounds like you're worried about something." This technique helps build empathy and opens more effective lines of communication. The importance of pauses and silence. Another crucial aspect Voss emphasizes is the strategic use of silence. In a negotiation, silence can be a powerful tool. When we leave space for silence after asking a question or making a comment, we give the other person time to reflect and respond more thoughtfully. Additionally, silence can increase pressure on the other party to speak, revealing valuable information that we can use to our advantage. Imagine you're negotiating with a supplier about a discount. You ask, "What's the best price you can offer?" and then stay silent. That silence can prompt the supplier to justify their current price or offer a better deal to break the uncomfortable silence, creating a sense of control. Voss also teaches us the importance of making the other party feel they have control of the situation. This can be achieved by asking calibrated questions that begin with how or what. For example, instead of asking, "Why can't you accept this offer?" you can say, "What do we need to do to make this offer work for both of us?" This type of question invites collaboration and helps find joint solutions. The accusation audit. An advanced technique Voss mentions is the accusation audit. This involves anticipating and addressing the other party's objections before they mention them. By doing so, you can disarm their arguments and show that you understand their concerns. For instance, you could say, "I know it might seem like we are being too demanding, but our intention is to find a solution that works for both of us." The value of tactical empathy. Finally, Voss introduces the concept of tactical empathy. This doesn't mean just being nice or understanding, it's about using empathy strategically to influence the other party. By demonstrating that you understand their feelings and perspectives, you can gain their trust and guide the conversation towards a positive outcome. For example, if you're negotiating with a difficult client, you might say, "I understand that this project is crucial for you, and that any delay can have a significant impact. We are committed to working together to ensure everything goes according to plan." Showing that you understand the project's importance to them makes it more likely the client will feel valued and be willing to collaborate with you. The importance of preparation. Knowing your limits and goals. A successful negotiation starts long before you sit at the table. Preparation is key to understanding your own limits and goals, as well as anticipating those of the other party. Voss recommends preparing a list of calibrated questions, possible objections and responses, and knowing your minimum and maximum objectives. For instance, if you're negotiating a significant purchase, you should know the maximum price you're willing to pay and what concessions you're willing to make. It's also helpful to research the other party to understand their needs and limitations, allowing you to tailor your negotiation strategy more effectively. The strategy of the anchored offer, setting the tone of the negotiation. One of the most effective tactics in negotiation is making the first offer, known as the anchored offer. This initial offer sets the tone and boundaries of the negotiation. Voss suggests that the anchored offer should be ambitious but reasonable, high enough to establish a strong reference point, without alienating the other party. Imagine you're selling a car, and the market price is $10,000. You might start the negotiation by stating that you're looking to sell it for $12,000. This high figure establishes an anchor, and although you probably won't get the full price, the negotiations will likely develop around that higher figure, benefiting you in the end. Adaptability and flexibility, adjusting on the fly. Finally, Voss highlights the importance of being adaptable and flexible during the negotiation. Circumstances can change quickly, and it's crucial to be prepared to adjust your approach based on new information. Keeping an open mind and being able to pivot in different directions will give you a significant advantage in any negotiation. Chapter 2. Create the illusion of control. In the second chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss introduces one of the most powerful techniques in negotiation, creating the illusion of control. This strategy leverages human psychology, recognizing that people are more likely to cooperate when they feel they are in control of the situation. The importance of calibrated questions. One of the most effective tools for creating this illusion is the use of calibrated questions. These questions, usually starting with how or what, are designed to make the other party think deeply and feel that they are driving the conversation. By asking these questions, you not only gain valuable information, but also disarm the other party, making them more open to your proposals. For instance, instead of asking, "Why can't you accept this offer?" you might ask, "What do we need to do to make this offer work for both of us?" This question not only invites collaboration, but also makes the other person feel empowered to come up with a solution. Disarming resistance with open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are crucial for disarming resistance and obtaining critical information. Instead of asking questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no, open-ended questions encourage the other person to talk and reveal more about their thoughts and emotions. Imagine you're negotiating a project timeline with a client. Instead of asking, "Are you worried about the deadline?" you might ask, "What are your main concerns regarding the project timeline?" This open-ended question invites the client to share more details, allowing you to address their concerns more effectively. The power of labeling emotions. Another key technique that Voss emphasizes is labeling emotions. Recognizing and verbalizing the other person's emotions can build a stronger connection and open more effective communication lines. Labeling emotions doesn't mean you agree with the other person, it means you understand their feelings and are willing to consider them. If you're in a tense negotiation and the other party seems frustrated, you might say, "It seems like this topic is causing you some frustration." This acknowledgement can diffuse tension and show the other person that you are committed to finding a solution that works for both sides. The "how can I do that" tactic. One of the most effective calibrated questions Voss recommends is, "How can I do that?" This question is particularly useful when the other party makes an unreasonable or difficult demand. By asking this question, you shift the burden back to the other party, asking them to consider your perspective and find a feasible solution. For example, if a client demands a significant discount that you can't afford, you might respond, "How can I offer that discount and still maintain the quality of service you expect?" This question forces the client to reconsider their demand and seek a more reasonable compromise. Strategic use of no. While it may seem counterintuitive, strategically saying no can be a powerful tool in negotiation. Voss suggests that instead of seeing no as an obstacle, we should view it as an opportunity to explore the other party's true needs and concerns. When you hear no, respond with calibrated questions to better understand their position. For instance, if someone says, "We can't accept this price," you might ask, "What aspects of the offer make you feel that the price is too high?" This question invites the other person to explain their concerns, giving you the chance to address those points directly. Emotional anchoring. Emotional anchoring involves using empathy to establish an emotional reference point in the negotiation. By showing empathy and understanding toward the other party, you can influence their emotional state and guide the conversation toward more favorable ground. If you're negotiating with someone who is visibly stressed, you might say, "I can see that this situation is causing you a lot of stress. I want to make sure we find a solution that works for both of us without adding more pressure." This empathetic approach not only shows your understanding, but also sets a tone of collaboration and respect. Making strategic concessions. Concessions are an inevitable part of negotiation, but Voss teaches how to make them strategically. Instead of immediately conceding to the other party's demands, consider the value of each concession and how it can be used to gain something in return. For instance, if you're negotiating a contract and the other party asks for a discount, you might be willing to concede, but only if they commit to a larger volume of purchase. This tactic ensures that any concession you make also benefits your position. The importance of preparation and practice. Voss underscores the importance of preparation and practice in negotiation. Knowing the details of the situation, the interests of the other party, and your own goals is crucial for a successful negotiation. Additionally, practicing negotiation techniques with a colleague or mentor can help you feel more confident and effective when it comes to the real negotiation. For example, if you're negotiating a major purchase, you should know your maximum price, what concessions you're willing to make, and have a list of calibrated questions ready. Understanding the other party's needs and limitations can also help you tailor your negotiation strategy more effectively. The patience of silence. In negotiation, silence can be a powerful ally. Voss explains that after asking an important question, resisting the urge to fill the silence with additional words can be crucial. Silence gives the other person time to think and can create a subtle pressure that encourages them to speak, revealing valuable information or reconsidering their position. Imagine you're negotiating a price with a supplier. You ask, "What's the best price you can offer?" and then remain silent. This silence can prompt the supplier to justify their current price or offer a better deal to break the uncomfortable silence. Building long-term relationships. Beyond the immediate agreement, Voss emphasizes the importance of building long-term relationships. Successful negotiations are not isolated events. They are part of an ongoing relationship. Building trust and mutual respect can lead to future opportunities and collaborations. For example, if you're negotiating with a supplier, treating them with respect and fairness can lead to more favorable terms in the future and a more productive working relationship. Long-term relationships based on trust can be far more valuable than any single deal. Chapter 3. The Voice, the Tool of Influence. In the third chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss delves into the concept of the voice and how the tone of your voice can significantly influence a negotiation. The way you say something can be as important or even more important than what you say. Voss explains that there are 3 types of tones of voice you can use: the late-night FM DJ voice, the positive playful voice, and the direct assertive voice. The late-night FM DJ voice. The late-night FM DJ voice is a calm, soothing, and relaxed tone. This voice can be used to de-escalate a situation, build rapport, and demonstrate empathy. Voss suggests using this tone when you need to calm the other person down, or when you want to create a sense of trust and safety. For example, if you're in a negotiation and the other party is getting agitated, you might use the late-night FM DJ voice to say, "I understand this is a challenging situation. Let's work together to find a solution that works for both of us." This calm tone can help to defuse tension and create a more cooperative atmosphere. The positive playful voice. The positive playful voice is friendly, upbeat, and encouraging. This tone is effective for most interactions, as it conveys warmth and optimism. Using this voice can help to establish a positive connection and make the other person more receptive to your ideas. For instance, when opening a negotiation or trying to build rapport, you might say in a positive playful voice, "I'm really excited about the possibilities we have here. Let's explore how we can make this work for both of us." This approach can set a collaborative tone and make the other party feel more comfortable. The direct assertive voice. The direct assertive voice is firm and authoritative. This tone should be used sparingly, as it can come across as confrontational if overused. The direct assertive voice is best reserved for situations where you need to set clear boundaries or when the other party is being unreasonable. For example, if someone is trying to push for terms that are unacceptable, you might use a direct assertive voice to say, "We cannot accept those terms because they do not align with our goals. Let's discuss alternatives that can work for both of us." This firm tone helps to establish your position without sounding overly aggressive. Matching the tone to the situation. Voss emphasizes the importance of matching your tone of voice to the situation. Understanding when to use each of the 3 tones can make a significant difference in the outcome of a negotiation. The right tone can build trust, convey empathy, and encourage collaboration, while the wrong tone can escalate conflict and create resistance. Examples of effective use of voice. To illustrate the effective use of voice, Voss provides several practical examples. Imagine you're negotiating a deadline with a project manager who is stressed about meeting the timeline. You could use the late-night FM DJ voice to say, "I can see this deadline is stressing you out. Let's discuss how we can adjust the schedule to make it more manageable." This calm, empathetic tone can help to alleviate their stress and open the door to a productive conversation. In another scenario, if you're negotiating a contract with a new client and want to create a positive first impression, you might use the positive, playful voice. "I'm really looking forward to working together on this project. Let's find a way to make this agreement beneficial for both of us." This upbeat tone can help to build rapport and set a positive tone for the negotiation. Combining voice with other techniques. Voss also highlights the importance of combining the right tone of voice with other negotiation techniques, such as mirroring and labeling. For example, using the late-night FM DJ voice while labeling the other person's emotions can be particularly effective in de-escalating a tense situation. Imagine a situation where a colleague is upset about a project delay. You could use the late-night FM DJ voice and say, "It sounds like you're really frustrated with the delay. Let's figure out a plan to get things back on track." This approach combines empathy, understanding, and a calm tone to address the issue constructively. The role of practice. Practicing different tones of voice is crucial for mastering this technique. Voss suggests rehearsing with a colleague or mentor to become comfortable using each tone in various scenarios. By practicing, you can develop the ability to switch tones smoothly and use them effectively in real negotiations. For instance, role-playing a negotiation scenario with a partner can help you practice when to use the late-night FM DJ voice, the positive, playful voice, and the direct, assertive voice. This practice can make you more confident and adaptable in actual negotiations. Building long-term relationships. Using the right tone of voice is not just about winning a negotiation, it's also about building long-term relationships. Voss emphasizes that the way you communicate can have a lasting impact on your relationships with clients, colleagues, and partners. A positive and empathetic tone can help to build trust and rapport, leading to more successful and collaborative relationships in the future. For example, consistently using a positive, playful voice in your interactions with a client can create a strong, positive relationship, making future negotiations smoother and more cooperative. Similarly, using the late-night FM DJ voice to show empathy and understanding can build trust and make the other party more willing to work with you in the long term. Chapter 4. Mirroring, the simplest and most effective tool. In the fourth chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss introduces one of the most straightforward yet powerful tools in negotiation: mirroring. Often underestimated, mirroring can be a highly effective technique to buy time, gather information, and build a connection with the other party. The concept of mirroring. Mirroring, in the context of negotiation, involves repeating the last few words or the most critical words of what the other person has said. This technique demonstrates that you are paying close attention and encourages the other person to continue talking, providing you with more information. For example, if someone says, "I'm very concerned about the timeline," you could respond with, "Concerned about the timeline?" This simple repetition invites the other person to elaborate further on their concerns, giving you valuable insights into their perspective. When and how to use mirroring. Mirroring is versatile and can be used at various stages of a negotiation. Voss suggests that it is particularly useful when you need to buy time to think about your response, when you want the other person to elaborate on a point, or when you simply want to show that you are listening attentively. To use mirroring effectively, pay attention to the key words and phrases that the other person uses. Repeating these words with a slight upward inflection, as if asking a question, can prompt the other person to continue speaking and provide more detailed information. Benefits of mirroring. Mirroring offers several benefits in a negotiation. Firstly, it shows that you are actively listening and valuing what the other person has to say, which can help build a stronger connection and establish trust. Secondly, it can help you gather more information by encouraging the other person to expand on their thoughts and feelings. Finally, mirroring can disarm resistance by validating the other person's emotions and perspectives. For example, if a colleague says, "I don't think we can meet the deadline," you might respond with, "Can't meet the deadline?" This repetition not only shows that you are listening, but also invites your colleague to explain the challenges they are facing, providing you with more context and information to address the issue. Examples of effective mirroring. To illustrate the use of mirroring, Voss provides several practical examples. Imagine you are in a meeting with a client who says, "We're worried about the cost of this project." You could mirror by saying, "Worried about the cost?" This response encourages the client to elaborate on their concerns, giving you more information to address their worries. In another scenario, if a team member says, "I'm not sure we have the resources for this," you might respond with, "Not sure we have the resources." This repetition invites them to provide more details about their concerns, helping you understand their perspective and find a solution. Mirroring in different cultural contexts. Voss also discusses how mirroring might need to be adjusted for different cultural contexts. In some cultures, direct repetition might be seen as a lack of understanding or even disrespectful. Being aware of these differences and adapting your approach accordingly is crucial. For instance, in cultures where indirect communication is the norm, you might soften your mirroring with additional phrases. Instead of directly repeating, you could say, "If I understand correctly, you're saying this approach maintains the essence of mirroring while respecting cultural nuances." Combining mirroring with other techniques. Mirroring can be combined with other negotiation techniques, such as labeling and calibrated questions, to maximize its effectiveness. Voss suggests using mirroring to gather information, then labeling to acknowledge the other person's emotions, and finally asking calibrated questions to guide the conversation. For example, you might start by mirroring a concern, then label the emotion behind it, and follow up with a calibrated question. Worried about the budget? It sounds like you're feeling pressured by the costs. What can we do to make this more feasible for you? This combination of techniques can create a more dynamic and productive conversation. The patience and persistence of mirroring. Like any negotiation technique, mirroring requires practice and patience. You may not always get an immediate or revealing response, but persistence is key. Continually using mirroring can help build a deeper understanding and connection over time. For example, if you don't get much information from your first mirror, try it again with a different part of the conversation. Over time, this persistent effort can encourage the other person to open up more and provide valuable insights. Conclusion: the power of mirroring. Mirroring is a powerful tool in negotiation that can help you gather information, build rapport, and create a more collaborative environment. By demonstrating that you are listening and valuing the other person's input, you can disarm resistance and open the door to more productive conversations. Chapter 5: Labeling. Recognize and validate emotions. In the 5th chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss introduces the technique of labeling, a crucial tool for recognizing and validating the emotions of the other party during a negotiation. Labeling involves identifying and verbalizing the emotions that the other person is experiencing, which can help build empathy and disarm resistance. The foundation of labeling. Labeling is based on the idea that emotions play a critical role in any human interaction. Ignoring them can lead to misunderstandings and conflicts, while acknowledging them can pave the way for more effective and collaborative communication. The first step in labeling is to listen attentively and observe the verbal and non-verbal cues of the other person. For instance, if your boss seems frustrated during a discussion about project deadlines, you might label that emotion by saying, "It seems like you're feeling frustrated with the timeline." This recognition not only validates their feelings, but also shows that you are paying attention and that you care about their perspective. How to use labeling. Labeling should be clear and direct, using phrases such as "it seems like," "it sounds like," or "it looks like." These phrases allow you to introduce your observation in a non-confrontational way and invite the other person to confirm or correct your perception. If you're negotiating with a client who expresses concern about the cost of a service, you might say, "It sounds like you're worried about the cost." This not only demonstrates empathy, but also encourages the client to share more details about their financial concerns, allowing you to address those issues more effectively. Impact of labeling in negotiation. Labeling can significantly impact the dynamics of a negotiation. By recognizing and validating the emotions of the other party, you can reduce tension and create a more collaborative atmosphere. This technique helps build trust and opens up lines of communication that can lead to problem solving. Additionally, labeling can disarm resistance. When people feel that their emotions are understood and validated, they are more likely to lower their defenses and be open to finding joint solutions. This can be especially useful in high-tension or conflict situations. Practical examples of labeling. To illustrate the use of labeling, Voss provides several practical examples. Imagine you're in a negotiation with a supplier who is hesitant to accept a change in contract terms. You might say, "It sounds like you're concerned about how these changes will impact your operations." This labeling can lead the supplier to explain their concerns, allowing you to address them specifically. In another scenario, if a colleague shows signs of anxiety about a project, you might say, "It seems like you're feeling anxious about how we're going to handle this project." This observation can open a conversation about underlying concerns and how they can be addressed collaboratively. Labeling in different cultural contexts. It's important to note that labeling might need adjustments depending on the cultural context. In some cultures, expressing emotions openly might be less common or acceptable. Being sensitive to these differences and adapting your approach can ensure that labeling is received positively. For example, in a culture where indirect communication is the norm, you might soften your labeling with more tentative phrases, such as, "It seems like this might be causing some concern." This approach respects cultural norms while still using the benefits of labeling. Integrating labeling with other techniques. Labeling can be integrated with other negotiation techniques for maximum effectiveness. Voss suggests combining labeling with mirroring and calibrated questions to gain a more comprehensive understanding of the situation and guide the conversation more effectively. For example, you might start with mirroring to gather information, use labeling to recognize the other person's emotions, and then ask calibrated questions to move towards a solution. Concerned about the budget? It sounds like managing costs is a significant issue. What can we do to make this project more affordable for you? This combination can create a more dynamic and productive negotiation. Patience and persistence in labeling. As with any negotiation technique, labeling requires practice and patience. You might not always get an immediate or revealing response, but persistence is key. Continually using labeling can help build a deeper understanding and connection over time. If the initial label does not elicit a detailed response, you can try again with another aspect of the conversation. This persistent effort can encourage the other person to open up more and provide valuable insights. The power of labeling. Labeling is a powerful tool in negotiation that helps you recognize and validate the emotions of the other party, disarm resistance, and build a stronger connection. By demonstrating that you are listening and valuing what the other person has to say, you can create a more collaborative and productive environment. Chapter 6. Neutralize. No. Unlocking the power of the positive. In the 6th chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss explains the importance of neutralizing no and transforming a negative response into a constructive dialogue. Handling no effectively is crucial for any negotiator, as it helps keep the conversation moving forward and avoids deadlock. Understanding the value of no. Voss begins by explaining that no is not necessarily the end of a negotiation. In fact, it can be an opportunity to clarify and delve deeper into the other party's needs and concerns. Recognizing that no is a natural part of the negotiation process can help you avoid taking it personally and instead use it as a tool to adjust your approach. For instance, if a client says no to your initial pricing proposal, it doesn't mean they are not interested in working with you. It could mean they need more information, have budget constraints, or have other priorities. This perspective allows you to explore their underlying concerns and find a path forward. Techniques to handle no. One effective technique for handling no is to ask calibrated questions that allow the other party to express their concerns in more detail. Voss recommends using questions that begin with what or how, because they are less confrontational and more open-ended, encouraging dialogue. For example, if someone says, "We can't accept these terms," you might respond with a calibrated question like, "What aspects of the terms are the most problematic for you?" This question invites the other party to elaborate on their issues, providing you with valuable information to adjust your proposal accordingly. Transforming no into a positive outcome. To turn a no into a positive outcome, it's essential to listen actively and show empathy. Voss suggests using techniques like labeling emotions and mirroring to demonstrate that you understand the other party's perspective. This can help build trust and reduce resistance. For instance, if a business partner expresses doubts about a project timeline, you could label their emotion by saying, "It sounds like you're concerned about meeting the deadlines." Follow this with a calibrated question. How can we adjust the timeline to make it more manageable for everyone? This approach shows that you are willing to collaborate and find a mutually beneficial solution. Using no to strengthen negotiation. Voss also highlights that, in some cases, saying no yourself can strengthen your position in a negotiation. Being able to to reject a proposal respectfully but firmly can show your seriousness and set clear boundaries, prompting the other party to reconsider their stance and offer more favorable terms. For example, if a client requests an unrealistic discount, you might respond with, "I understand you're looking for the best deal, but we can't offer that discount without compromising quality. How can we structure this agreement to provide value while maintaining our standards?" This response sets a clear limit while inviting further discussion. The psychology behind no. Understanding the psychology behind no is crucial. Voss explains that people often say no as a way to protect themselves or to buy time to think. By recognizing this, you can manage no more constructively, viewing it as an opportunity to explore the other party's true needs and concerns. For example, during a salary negotiation, if your boss says no to your initial request, it might be because they need more justification or time to consider it. You could respond with a calibrated question like, "What additional information can I provide to help you consider this request?" This shows respect for their position and opens the door to further dialogue. The role of persistence and patience. Persistence and patience are key when neutralizing no. Voss emphasizes that you should not be discouraged by an initial rejection and should be prepared to continue negotiating until you find a solution that works for both parties. Maintaining a positive attitude and being willing to explore different options can lead to a successful outcome. For example, if a potential client rejects your first offer, don't give up. Instead, ask questions, offer alternatives, and demonstrate your willingness to work together to find a solution. This persistence can eventually lead to a yes that meets both parties' needs. Practical examples of handling no. Voss provides several practical examples to illustrate how to handle no effectively. Imagine you're negotiating a service agreement, and the other party says, "We can't agree to those payment terms." You could respond with, "What payment terms would be more acceptable for you?" This question invites them to propose alternatives, allowing you to understand their constraints and adjust your offer. In another scenario, if a client says, "We're not interested in that product," you might ask, "What aspects of the product don't meet your needs?" This question can reveal specific concerns that you can address, turning the no into an opportunity to refine your offer and better meet the client's expectations. Chapter 7. Yes is nothing without how. In the 7th chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss delves into the importance of not just getting to a yes, but ensuring that the yes is backed up with a concrete plan of action. He emphasizes that a yes without a clear how is meaningless and often leads to false agreements that can fall apart. This chapter is about turning tentative agreements into solid commitments. Understanding the 3 types of yes. Voss introduces the concept of the 3 types of yes: the counterfeit yes, the confirmation yes, and the commitment yes. Understanding these distinctions is crucial to navigating negotiations effectively. Counterfeit yes. This is when someone says yes just to get you off their back or to gain some advantage without any intention of following through. It's a false agreement that can lead to disappointment and conflict. Confirmation yes. This is a simple affirmation without commitment. It often means "I understand" or "I agree in principle," but it lacks the actionable follow-through. Commitment yes. This is the real deal, a true agreement that comes with a plan and a commitment to action. This is the yes you should strive for in every negotiation. How to secure a commitment yes. To secure a commitment yes, Voss advises using calibrated questions that focus on implementation and practical steps. This ensures that the other party is not only agreeing in principle, but is also prepared to take action. For example, after receiving a tentative yes, you might ask, "How do you see this working out?" Or "What steps do we need to take to implement this agreement?" These questions force the other party to think about the specifics and confirm their commitment to the deal, creating a clear path to execution. Once you have a commitment yes, the next step is to outline a clear path to execution. This involves breaking down the agreement into actionable steps, timelines, and responsibilities. Voss emphasizes the importance of clarity to prevent misunderstandings and ensure smooth implementation. For instance, if you've agreed on a project scope with a client, you could follow up with, "Let's outline the key milestones and deadlines to make sure we're on the same page. What are the first steps we need to take?" This approach ensures that both parties have a shared understanding of the path forward. Using summaries and paraphrasing. Another effective technique Voss suggests is using summaries and paraphrasing to confirm agreements. By summarizing what has been agreed upon and asking the other party to confirm, you can ensure that there is no ambiguity and that both parties are aligned. For example, you might say, "Just to make sure we're on the same page, we're agreeing to start the project on July 1st with a review meeting scheduled for August 15th. and the final deliverables by September 30th. Is that correct? This summary reinforces the commitment and provides an opportunity to clarify any misunderstandings. The importance of following up after a negotiation is critical to maintaining momentum and ensuring that commitments are honored. Voss recommends setting regular check-ins and status updates to monitor progress and address any issues that arise. For instance, after agreeing on a new partnership, you could schedule bi-weekly meetings to review progress and address any challenges. This consistent follow-up helps to keep both parties accountable and ensures that the agreement stays on track. Building trust through accountability. Building trust is a key component of successful negotiation and implementation. Voss emphasizes that demonstrating accountability and reliability can strengthen relationships and pave the way for future collaborations. For example, if you've committed to delivering a report by a certain date, make sure you meet that deadline. If any delays or issues arise, communicate them promptly and work collaboratively to find solutions. This accountability builds trust and reinforces your reputation as a reliable partner. Avoiding the pitfalls of the counterfeit yes. Voss also highlights the importance of recognizing and avoiding the pitfalls of the counterfeit yes. He suggests being vigilant for signs that the other party is not genuinely committed and using calibrated questions to test their commitment. For example, if someone agrees too quickly or seems evasive about details, you might ask, "What challenges do you foresee in implementing this plan?" Or "Can you walk me through how we will achieve this?" These questions help to uncover any reservations and ensure that the agreement is genuine. Practical examples of securing a commitment yes. To illustrate the concept, Voss provides several practical examples. Imagine you're negotiating a service contract with a client who says, "Yes, this looks good." You could respond with, "Great. How do you see us rolling this out over the next few months?" This question prompts the client to think about the practical aspects and confirm their commitment. In another scenario, if a colleague agrees to a new project deadline, you might ask, "What steps do we need to take to meet this deadline? And who will be responsible for each part?" This ensures that everyone understands their roles in the timeline, reducing the risk of misunderstandings. Chapter 8. Guarantee execution. Ensuring follow-through. In the 8th chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss focuses on the critical phase of guaranteeing execution. Getting to an agreement is only half the battle, ensuring that the agreement is executed effectively is what truly matters. This chapter delves into techniques and strategies to ensure that all parties follow through on their commitments. The importance of clarity. Voss emphasizes that clarity is essential for successful execution. Every detail of the agreement should be clearly defined, including responsibilities, timelines, and expectations. This prevents misunderstandings and ensures that everyone is on the same page. For instance, after finalizing a deal, you might say, "To ensure we are aligned, let's review the key points of our agreement. You will deliver the initial draft by July 1st, and we will provide feedback by July 15th. The final version should be ready by August 1st. Does that work for you?" This clear summary helps reinforce the commitments and timelines. The power of deadlines. Deadlines are crucial for ensuring that agreements are executed on time. Voss suggests setting specific deadlines for each milestone and making sure that both parties are committed to these dates. This helps maintain momentum and keeps the project on track. For example, if you're negotiating a project timeline, you could say, "Let's set some key milestones to ensure we stay on track. How about we aim to complete the initial phase by the end of this month, with a mid-project review in 2 weeks?" This establishes a clear timeline and ensures accountability. Utilizing confirmations. Confirmations are another essential tool for guaranteeing execution. Voss recommends using both verbal and written confirmations to ensure that everyone understands and agrees to the terms. This reduces the risk of miscommunication and provides a record of the agreement. For example, after a negotiation, you might send a follow-up email summarizing the key points of the agreement. "Just to confirm our discussion, we agreed that you will provide the initial proposal by July 1st, and we will review it by July 15th. Please let me know if I missed anything." This written confirmation helps solidify the agreement and provides a reference for both parties. The role of regular check-ins. Regular check-ins are vital for monitoring progress and addressing any issues that arise. Voss suggests scheduling regular updates to review the status of the agreement and ensure that everything is on track. For instance, if you're managing a project, you could schedule weekly meetings to discuss progress, address any challenges, and make adjustments as needed. This regular communication helps maintain accountability and keeps the project moving forward. Building a culture of accountability. Creating a culture of accountability is crucial for successful execution. Voss highlights the importance of demonstrating accountability yourself and encouraging it in others. This builds trust and reinforces the importance of following through on commitments. For example, if you're leading a team, make sure to follow through on your commitments and hold others accountable for theirs. Recognize and reward team members who consistently meet their deadlines and deliver high-quality work. This fosters a culture of reliability and encourages everyone to uphold their commitments. Handling obstacles and adjustments. Even with the best planning, obstacles and adjustments are inevitable. Voss advises being proactive in addressing these challenges and maintaining open communication to find solutions. For example, if an unexpected issue arises that threatens to delay the project, communicate this promptly with the other party and work together to find a solution. You might say, "We've encountered an issue that may affect our timeline. Let's discuss how we can adjust our plan to stay on track." This proactive approach helps mitigate the impact of obstacles and keeps the project moving forward. Leveraging implementation intention. Implementation intention is a psychological strategy that involves planning out when, where, and how you will execute specific actions. Voss suggests using this technique to ensure that both parties have a clear plan for executing the agreement. For example, after agreeing on a sales target, you might say, "To achieve our target, let's outline the specific actions we need to take. I'll follow up with our key clients next week, and you'll prepare the marketing materials by the end of this month. Does that sound good?" This detailed plan helps ensure that both parties are committed to specific actions and timelines. Case studies and practical examples. Voss provides several case studies and practical examples to illustrate the importance of guaranteeing execution. Imagine you're negotiating a partnership agreement, and the other party agrees to provide certain resources. You could follow up with, "To ensure we meet our goals, let's outline the specific resources you'll provide and the timeline for delivery. Can we review this together?" This ensures clarity and commitment from both parties. In another scenario, if you're leading a team project, you might say, "Let's set up weekly check-ins to review our progress and address any issues. I'll send out a meeting invite with the agenda and key milestones." This regular communication helps maintain accountability and ensures that everyone is on track. Chapter 9. Bargain Hard. In the 9th chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss focuses on the concept of bargaining hard while maintaining a collaborative approach. This chapter delves into advanced techniques that negotiators can use to push for better outcomes without damaging relationships. Voss emphasizes the importance of using assertive tactics that ensure you get the best possible deal while keeping the negotiation process positive and productive. Understanding bargaining styles. Voss begins by explaining different bargaining styles and how understanding these can help you adapt your approach. The main styles include competing. This style is assertive and uncooperative, focusing on winning at the other party's expense. It can be effective in situations where the stakes are high, but it can also damage relationships. Collaborating. This style seeks a win-win solution, focusing on finding a mutually beneficial outcome. It is cooperative and assertive, promoting a long-term relationship. Compromising. This style finds a middle ground where both parties give up something. It is moderate in both assertiveness and cooperativeness. Avoiding. This style involves sidestepping or postponing the negotiation. It is unassertive and uncooperative, suitable for low-stakes situations or when emotions are high. Accommodating. This style is unassertive and cooperative, putting the other party's needs first. It can build goodwill, but may lead to suboptimal outcomes. Understanding your own style and that of the other party can help you tailor your strategy to be more effective. The Ackerman Model. One of the key techniques Voss introduces in this chapter is the Ackerman Model, a bargaining strategy developed by Mike Ackerman, a former CIA agent. This method involves making calculated offers and counteroffers to gradually move the other party towards your desired outcome. The Ackerman Model consists of the following steps. Set your target price. Decide on your ideal outcome and the maximum price you are willing to pay. Set your first offer at 65% of your target price. This gives you room to negotiate and sets an anchor point. Calculate 3 increasing increments to your target price. Plan incremental increases to 85%, 95%, and finally, 100% of your target price. Use empathy and tactical questions throughout. Engage the other party using empathy, calibrated questions, and labeling to guide the negotiation. Use a precise, non-round number for your final offer. This makes your offer appear more thoughtful and final. Throw in a non-monetary item to show you're at your limit. This signals that you've reached your maximum, adding perceived value without increasing the financial offer. Anchoring effectively. Anchoring is a powerful technique in negotiation, where the first offer sets the tone for the rest of the negotiation. Voss explains that setting a strong anchor can significantly influence the final outcome. When you make the first offer, aim high but reasonable to anchor the negotiation in your favor. For example, if you are selling a car and you believe its fair value is $15,000, you might start with an asking price of $18,000. This high anchor sets the stage for negotiations to revolve around a higher price point. Using tactical empathy. Voss stresses the importance of tactical empathy in hard bargaining. This involves understanding the emotions and perspectives of the other party and using that understanding to influence the negotiation. Tactical empathy helps to build rapport and trust, making the other party more likely to agree to your terms. For instance, if you're negotiating a raise with your boss, you could say, "I understand that budget constraints are a concern this year, but I've consistently exceeded my targets and contributed significantly to our recent projects. How can we find a solution that reflects my performance while considering budget limitations?" Handling objections. Handling objections is a critical part of bargaining hard. Voss advises using a technique called accusation audit, where you preemptively address the other party's potential objections. By acknowledging their concerns before they raise them, you can disarm their arguments and demonstrate that you understand their perspective. For example, if you're negotiating a deal and anticipate that the other party will be concerned about delivery times, you might say, "I know that delivery times have been an issue in the past, and I've made sure that we have an improved system in place to ensure timely delivery." Negotiating under pressure. Negotiating under pressure can be challenging, but Voss provides strategies to maintain your composure and effectiveness. He suggests focusing on the process rather than the outcome, staying flexible, and being prepared to walk away if necessary. Maintaining a calm and confident demeanor helps to keep the negotiation on track and prevents you from making hasty concessions. For instance, if a client is pressuring you to lower your price, you might say, "I understand that budget is a concern, and we've worked hard to offer the best value within these constraints. Let's explore other ways we can adjust the scope to fit your budget without compromising on quality." The role of silence. Silence can be a powerful tool in negotiation. Voss explains that strategic silence can create discomfort for the other party, prompting them to fill the void by revealing more information or making concessions. Using silence effectively can help you gain an upper hand without saying a word. For example, after making an offer, instead of immediately justifying it or continuing to speak, you might simply pause and wait for the other party to respond. This silence can pressure them to react, often in a way that benefits your position. Closing the deal. Closing the deal requires a balance of assertiveness and empathy. Voss advises that you should aim to close the deal when you sense that the other party is ready, but also be prepared to back off if they need more time. Using summarization to reinforce the agreed terms and asking for a final confirmation can help to ensure that both parties are clear on the agreement. For instance, you might say, "To summarize, we've agreed on the price of $15,000, with delivery by the end of the month and a 6-month warranty. Is there anything else we need to address before finalizing?" Chapter 10. Find the Black Swan. In the 10th and final chapter of Never Split the Difference, Chris Voss introduces the concept of the black swan, those small, seemingly insignificant pieces of information that can have a massive impact on the outcome of a negotiation. Discovering these hidden elements can transform the dynamics of a negotiation and lead to unexpectedly positive outcomes. Understanding black swans. Black swans are unexpected and impactful events or pieces of information that can completely change the course of a negotiation. They are often hidden beneath the surface and require keen observation, active listening, and a willingness to dig deeper to uncover. Voss explains that every negotiation has at least 3 black swans. These are the pieces of critical information that the other party is holding back. Discovering these elements can give you a significant advantage and help you craft solutions that are more appealing to both sides. The role of curiosity and open-ended questions. Curiosity is a vital trait for uncovering black swans. Voss emphasizes the importance of asking open-ended questions that encourage the other party to share more information. These questions should be designed to uncover the underlying motivations, fears, and constraints that might not be immediately obvious. For example, instead of asking, "Is this the best price you can offer?" you might ask, "What challenges are you facing that make this price point important to you?" This type of question can reveal underlying concerns that you can address to move the negotiation forward. Tactical empathy and mirroring. Tactical empathy and mirroring are crucial techniques for uncovering black swans. By showing that you understand and respect the other party's feelings and perspectives, you can create an environment of trust that encourages them to open up. For instance, if a client seems hesitant about a project timeline, you could use mirroring and say, "You're concerned about the timeline?" This simple reflection can prompt them to explain their concerns in more detail, providing you with valuable information that might reveal a black swan. Labeling and accusation audits. Labeling and accusation audits are also effective for uncovering hidden information. By labeling emotions and addressing potential objections head-on, you can encourage the other party to share more about their true needs and constraints. For example, if you sense that a business partner is worried about the financial risks of a deal, you might say, "It sounds like you're worried about the financial implications of this agreement." This acknowledgement can lead them to divulge more about their concerns, giving you insights into how to structure the deal more effectively. Identifying leverage points. Black swans often serve as leverage points in a negotiation. Once uncovered, they can be used to craft solutions that address the other party's deepest concerns or aspirations. This can turn a stalemate into a win-win situation. For instance, if you discover that a supplier is under pressure to meet certain delivery targets to secure a bonus, you can use this information to negotiate better terms for yourself while helping them achieve their goal. This creates a mutually beneficial agreement that might not have been possible without the black swan. Case study. Discovering black swans. Voss shares several case studies to illustrate the power of black swans. In one example, a company was negotiating a contract renewal with a longtime supplier who was suddenly reluctant to agree to the usual terms. By using tactical empathy and asking open-ended questions, they discovered that the supplier was dealing with new management pressures to reduce costs. Armed with this information, they were able to offer a revised agreement that included a longer contract duration in exchange for lower prices, satisfying both parties. Building a culture of discovery. Voss emphasizes that discovering black swans requires a mindset of continuous curiosity and a culture of discovery within your team. Encourage your team to ask questions, share insights, and always look for the hidden elements that could impact negotiations. For instance, during team debriefings, you might ask, "What did we learn about the other party's motivations or constraints that wasn't immediately obvious?" This practice can help you and your team become more adept at identifying and leveraging black swans. Practical tips for uncovering black swans. To uncover black swans effectively, Voss provides several practical tips. Stay observant. Pay attention to verbal and non-verbal cues that might indicate hidden concerns or motivations. Be patient. Allow the other party time to open up. Sometimes the most crucial information is revealed after establishing trust over multiple conversations. Encourage dialogue. Create a safe environment where the other party feels comfortable sharing information. Use empathetic listening and avoid judgment. Ask the right questions. Use open-ended, calibrated questions that encourage the other party to provide detailed responses. Listen actively. Focus on truly understanding the other party's perspective, rather than just waiting for your turn to speak. Conclusion. The power of black swans. The discovery of black swans can significantly enhance your negotiation outcomes. By using curiosity, tactical empathy, and a strategic approach to questioning, you can uncover the hidden elements that make all the difference. Embracing the concept of black swans transforms you from a good negotiator into a great one, capable of navigating complex negotiations with finesse and insight.